Thank you for joining us today. Let's begin our webinar today on how to streamline your business with e-signatures and remote online notarization, presented by myself, Bill Gimbel, and Roger Castile. Roger, you want to give yourself a quick introduction?
Sure. Thanks, Bill. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar. Really appreciate that. A little history about me. I've been with Secured Signing for about 2.5 years now. Prior to that, I was in the mortgage space for 15 years, working for a top 10 lender. My primary focus in that industry was working with my title vendors, appraisal, flood, 4506T, et cetera. So I managed a lot of those different divisions for that particular lender, and but I've also been a notary for since 2004. So that's why I decided to join Secured Signing. But thank you, Bill.
All right, thank you, Roger. And just a brief view on myself, Bill Gimbel. I've been in the mortgage space since '97. I own one of the largest signing services in the United States and sold that to CBC companies. Have been a board member and member of most of the groups surrounding the e-signature space, be it the MBA or National Association of the Secretary of State, the National Notary Association, MISMO, and others. I'm a published author and consultant to a number of firms. So between Roger and I, we have a lot of where the rubber meets the road experience. We know what goes on out there in the real world of e-signatures and remote online notarization, both having conducted many of those ourselves. So we do come from a perspective of the execution of a notary. We're not a technology firm that got into notarization. We're a notarization group that got into technology. So I think that's our advantage. But let's get on with our presentation today. And I'll be pausing a number of times during this presentation to ask questions or see if you have questions. And we really encourage you, please ask any and all questions. I can guarantee you that if you're thinking of it, so is somebody else. So do everyone a favor and go ahead and let's ask a lot of questions. It really, again, makes it much more entertaining for everyone. And today's agenda, we're going to go briefly over our company, where we are, the benefits of digital signatures, the security and data integrity and compliance surrounding secured signing and our offering, go into remote online notarization, the benefits of that, some use cases for both e-signature and online notarization, as well as in-person electronic notarization, a quick demo, and then we're going to open up the field again throughout the presentation, but at the end for any and all questions after you've seen what we've had to say. So us, Secured Signing, we're a 14-year-old company. We are in over 45 countries offering services. We've been doing so for, again, 14 years. We are rated as in the top 3 e-signature platforms worldwide, honestly, competing against Adobe and DocuSign. And Google recently rated us as a top 3 remote online notarization platform as well. So we're quite proud of that. I think one of the reasons is our extreme security, and that we are an ISO 27001 approved company with a HIPAA endorsement for doing medical documents online, MISMO endorsement for doing financial documents online. We are FDA approved for doing document trials online with the FDA, as well as GDPR and CCPA compliant for security. So the takeaway here is that we're an extremely secure platform, and that's going to be important to you and to the people that you serve. Something that we also offer that is surprisingly unique, it really candidly is that we use PKI digital signatures, not an electronic signature, which is just a graphic representation of an individual signature. We actually do PKI digital signature for all signers. That proves essentially who signed that, and it has what's called non-repudiation, and it also tamper seals the documents against any future alterations. So it's an extremely secure system. We operate in a lot of different verticals, be it government, recruitment, medical industry, the construction industry, of course, the legal industry, and hospital environments, doctor's offices, car finances, car dealerships. So we're across a broad breadth of industries, which really explains why our platform is and needs to be as robust as it is. So, and you'll see that in the demonstration, the offering that we have to really promote and secure and allow you to maintain and retain business in your various verticals. The benefits of a digital signing. I think, we are probably by this time, since UWIDA was passed by the Clinton administration in 2002, UWIDA and e-sign, giving the legal enforceability of an electronic signature to that of a wet signature. So the operational characteristics of an electronic signing is you can go from creation to execution and return in a matter of minutes. So the acceleration of the process of the delivery of the execution of the return, all in a secure encrypted environment, really is a tremendous benefit. The tangible costs are obviously the green aspect of not having to use paper, converting applications to a mandatory environment, meaning if you're a hospital doing medical request records or an HR doing a form, you can require that individual, they must fill out this particular form and these certain cells before they can sign it. So you're not going to get missed documents. Another thing that a lot of people don't realize is that an electronic signed document is an original regardless of how many you receive. So in the paper world, if you want a certified original, you have to get a notary to notarize that document as a copy document. In the electronic world, each electronic signature is considered, document is considered an original. So once you execute it, you can post that document around to all interested or required parties, and all of them are in receipt of an original copy. The platform allows you to monitor the signing process. We have what's called a batch delivery process where you can send a document out to everyone in the company, 500, 1,000, 1,200 documents to be signed by everybody, and you can monitor the progress of those accomplishments on your dashboard. So you can see who has and who hasn't signed it. You can send out reminders tagged at certain times. So you can monitor and coach the process along the way to the end point at which you must have all these documents returned and signed. The step 4, or point 4, is the elevation of the user experience. Because they can sign on a laptop or a desktop or a phone or an iPad, be it the phone Android or iOS, there's a number of mediums in which they can access and execute that document. So it really expedites and elevates the user experience, making it much quicker, much easier. So there's a lot you can do with the platform to increase the user experience, one of which, of course, is branding, your ability as a user of the platform to brand our platform, it's white label, with your logo, your look, your feel, your scripting. So as far as your clients believe, it is your platform. And because we don't have our own signing service, we don't service the market directly, we promote those enterprises, notaries, and businesses to utilize our platform in a white label environment to grow, protect, and build their own business and their brand. With regards to security, as mentioned, we're an ISO certified company. We're halfway through our SOC 2, which is a more domestic US certification process that pretty much about 97% mirrors SOC, ISO 27001. All our documents are, of course, encrypted at rest and in transit. Part of the subscription benefit to our platform for you, the subscribers, is that we provide you a web page. If you don't have your own website, we provide you a web page that you can use as advertising, and also in that web page, we provide you the ability to have your clients securely upload their documents in an encrypted fashion. So that's going to be very important in many, many, approaching most all markets now, that a document in transit must be encrypted, and we provide you that. So there's no need to subscribe to a Dropbox account because, again, we provide that same utility as a benefit to the monthly subscription. The ability also to sign on the fly, meaning you can schedule an appointment for right now. So as soon as that client receives that document, they can log in and sign it. If it's a remote online notarization event, as long as you both agree on the time, say 3 minutes from now, you both log in and you can knock it out right away. So again, from need to creation to delivery to execution to return, it's really a matter of minutes. And of course, it's an extremely green, low carbon footprint process, as you can well imagine. So those are just some of the benefits of digital signing, along, of course, with the ability to confirm who actually signed the documents. And we're going to show you that unique feature in a few minutes. It's really exciting. And we'll show that in a moment. Let's go on to our next slide. Standardization. As I mentioned earlier, secured signing is CCPA, California Consumer Protection Act, and GDPR, which is the European component of that, compliant, meaning that we are audited by a third-party entity. This happens to be the ISO group, randomly throughout the year, to say that we comply with the certificate of compliance that they issued us initially. So we just went through one actually about 4 or 5 weeks ago. They literally knock on the door, so to speak, and say, we'll be there tomorrow, and we want to take a look at your process to make sure that you're doing exactly what you said and we saw you as doing 6 or 3 months ago when we issued you your certificate of compliance and excellence. So that's very, very important to you and to your clients. Again, the PKI technology that we use to tamper seal the document is very important. And what that essentially means is that the recipient of the document can click on the signature in that document 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 years from now and determine whether that document has been changed or not. I mean, it's an extremely valuable feature with regards to non-repudiation. In the paper world, the security surrounding a 10-page document is a paperclip or a staple. You have no idea if page 2 and 3 or 4 and 7 have been swapped out. In the e-sign world with PKI sealing technology for tamper evidence, that's not the case. Again, you can click on that signature and determine whether or not that document has been altered since it was originally signed. All documents come with an audit log, either a brief 2-page compliance and completion report, or we actually have the entire audit log that shows everything from the time the person logged in, where their geolocation was, what their IP address was, each step of the way to comply with UEDA and e-sign laws with regards to the application of an electronically attached signature to a document. So that's part of the package that comes with the subscription. Signer authentication. In today's world, I mean, I'm reminded of this every time I go to my cell phone. I have to put in a security code to access my email or even answer the phone. But it's become critical when you see 1/3 of the email sent or spammy sort of emails. The ability on our platform to determine who exactly signed the document, be it video confirmation or a view of who signed that e-sign document, going on to the various methods of determining identity, such as knowledge-based authentication, which, as I'm sure you've all seen, is a series of 5 questions, 6 possible answers that must be completed in 2 minutes, such as you lived on one of the following streets, owned one of the following cars, went to one of the following colleges. Again, that is managed and promulgated by the Federal Bridge Act, which is one of the methodologies that we employ for verification of identity. Another, of course, is ID validation. We actually verify over 5,000 different government-issued picture IDs from over 200 countries. We do a forensic examination on the front and back of the identity document. We then do a selfie that face matches biometrically to the face on the ID. So we've got 2 steps here. One is the validation that the ID presented is authentic, and 2, that the person whose picture was immediately taken with a liveness test matches the face on the ID. Thirdly, when you get into session, if it's a notary session, the notary can review the front and the back of the ID, review the selfie that was taken, and then the individual who actually promoted or uploaded those elements appears in a separate screen where you can also then ask them to hold up the ID that was considered as being valid. So it's extremely secure. We also, of course, offer the other methods of ID evaluation, such as credible witness and, of course, personally known. So in the notary world, if you personally know the individual who's signing, it's not necessary for them to go through the ID process. One of the other ID authentication elements that is used quite a bit is the ID valuation with biometric matching as the sole method in which a person's identity can be verified. There are a number of states, I think it's 8 or 10, that allow their state's notaries to do just that. So in those states, it's become very popular for them to notarize documents for people that have no U.S. Credit history, have no social security number. So that's a very popular method of doing that. And because remote online notary statutes allow the notary to notarize a document regardless of the location of the signer, meaning the signer can be in Paris, it can be in South America, they can be in China, Brazil. It doesn't matter. The venue for legal enforcement and workflow compliance is based on where the notary's commission is issued from. So as long as the notary is in their state of commission, they can notarize a document regardless of the location of the individual. The other feature of the platform is our in-person electronic notarization. It very much mirrors the paper-based workflow where instead of signing on paper, the document is on the notary's computer or pad, and they essentially turn it around after authentication and allow the signer to sign the documents. The pad is returned back to the notary, they sign and notarize it, and it's done. So all these features are included with your monthly subscription to Secured Signing. The ability to review and fill in functionality and data accuracy and integrity. What that means is you have the ability in session to make adjustments. If you forgot to add a signature or if you forgot to add a text box or a date, you can do that in the middle of a session if you've missed something. And then once the document is signed by the notary, again, it's tamper sealed, so there can be no changes made to that document, and the integrity of the executed document remains for what's called LTV, long-term verification. Again, 5, 7, 10 years down the road, you can open that document, click on the signature, and determine whether or not any changes have been made to that document. Okay, I'm going to pause here. I've been blathering on for about 15 minutes. So I'm going to open up the mic here for everyone. If anyone has a question on what we've seen or what you've heard so far. Also, and I should have asked this originally, if someone could just give me a quick shout out that indeed you can hear and see my screen, I apologize, I should have asked that first. So if somebody could acknowledge that, please. Hannah, Harrison, Ryan, Serena, Michael, anyone? You can also go into the chat function on the GoToMeeting dashboard and just enter into chat. Of course, any questions you have, but just acknowledge that you can hear me if you would, please.
It looks like we've got a quiet group out there, but it looks like they're staying. So I'm under the assumption that they can definitely hear you present today.
Great. Okay. Thanks for that, Roger. Appreciate it. Okay. Let me close this. Again, to recap what we just went over, by leveraging and embracing the power of technology, you're going to reduce your costs, increase your efficiency, and increase the user satisfaction of those forms associated with your business. Again, it's convenient, secure, it saves a lot of time, and again, it's an eco-friendly sort of transition. Okay, let's, excuse me. Okay, Secured Signing provides a platform, again, as we said, is white labeled, but we also have, small firms using it. We have very, very, very large firms using our enterprise grade platform. It's the same platform with enhanced features for administration. So it allows you to schedule a session, reschedule a session. Again, you can do the verification and authentication steps to ensure the identity of any or all your signers. Signing is going to be electronically done via PKI signatures. We provide the notary seal if you don't have an electronic image of your seal. We can provide that as well as your electronic signature. The image of your electronic signature, we can provide that as well. The process allows, once executed, your signer to either receive the document via encrypted email. They can download the executed document immediately following the session, or if it's a very, very large document, we can send them a link that they then log into with the security code and download it directly from our server. And that is very commonly used in the medical industry, where we have DICOM x-ray files and huge patient records that create 10, 20, 30, 25, 50 megabyte files. So those obviously have to be downloaded directly through a link. So again, we've looked at all the permutations that occur out there in the various market verticals and accommodate the workflow to associate, a smooth, user-friendly environment for the completion of the execution of those documents. Okay. Again, I've been talking. Any questions on problems that you have that you would like to see us address, or questions that may have been formulated so far through the presentation? I'm going to unmute everyone again and see if anyone has any questions prior to getting into our demonstration.
There's one here that we have that they're interested again on between the difference between that ISO 2701 and SOC 2. Can you just elaborate on that?
Yes, so, ISO 2701 has been around quite a bit longer than SOC 2. It, again, is about 97% the same. It's an international standards organization that has promulgated rules for utilization of a web-based or SaaS-based product, so that it is secure. It provides the ability to prevent hacking, to prevent interception of an audio-visual signal during a session. And again, this is a process whereby they literally come out to your offices, to your server farms, and examine your workflow, your security, and it's about 14 different tests they run. They also run random tests. So it allows the market to know that we're a secure platform, and that we are not only just secure when we applied for the certification, but we have an ongoing certification program that the ISO approves and then challenges us with 3 or 4 times a year to make sure we remain in compliance. The difference in SOC 2 is it's more domestic related. Actually, it's honestly not quite as robust as ISO, but it's something that's recognized more in the United States than it is in European countries. And then that we operate in 46 different countries, ISO for us was more meaningful. But because of the market demand, we're actually in the middle of our ISO certification. It is pretty much a duplication again of the ISO standard, but it's something that the US market is asking for. So we're in the midst of completing that.
Cool, thank you. And there was a message that came in privately here. I'll address it here. So Bill did mention earlier that we are MISMO certified. Just to recoup on that, we've actually just completed our 3rd MISMO certification. So we are strongly in the mortgage space. We've got a lot of, we have lenders and a lot of title companies using our platform today to manage, and because we have that MISMO certification. So again, 3rd year, a lot of the platforms out there today don't have that 3rd one, but we are there. So just thought I'd throw that out.
Great, thank you, Roger. Yeah, that's important. That is very important. Okay, let's move forward. Use cases, of course, as I mentioned, we're in a lot of different verticals, doing a lot of different documents, and I always want to remind everyone that we were an e-signature platform, doing all types of leases for all types of vertical markets. And we got into the RON market a little over 3 years ago. So again, being one of the top 3 e-signature, top 3 RON platforms in the US, we have enjoyed the opportunity of engaging a lot of different industries. Tremendous amount of work in HR, in the legal industry. We just entered, Roger and I had the privilege of being at the American Bar Association meeting last March in Chicago, where one of the features that I'm going to show you in a moment was just, they were overwhelmed that we could do this and do this at no additional cost. And that's called e-signature with video confirmation. And I'll show you that in a moment. And it's great for documents. It proves who actually signed that document. We used a lot of work in procurement departments, government agencies, of course, in finance and mortgage, community notification, homeowners association. So we have a broad breadth of clients, or also potential clients for you as a user of our white label platform. Again, we have one of the largest RON signing networks in the U.S., New York Public Service Network, owned by a gentleman and his family, Jonathan Dratner and family, that uses our platform exclusively and has had tremendous success with it. So now I'm going to go into a quick demonstration. Okay, and I'm going to be first. Let me show you something first. We had talked about the e-signatures with video confirmation. So I'm going to show you what our e-signature product with video confirmation looks like. The premise here is that I have sent a document out for an individual just to sign. This could be a disclosure, an engagement letter, a contract for construction, a release for a medical form, a disclosure for a mortgage application. So I'm a Joe Signer, and I'm going to log into my email account, and I'm going to grab that document here. Excuse me, I'm going to plow through my, there we go. This is Joe Signer. This is the email. And again, remember, you have the ability to add your own company logo and your own scripted invitation. But really, all the signer needs to do just to sign a document is simply click on this frame, enter this unique security code, 3129. So I'm going to sign this document that I'm expecting to receive. And again, I could be on a cell phone, a tablet, a desktop, a laptop. And this is the pop-up. This is where your company name would go. The UWIDA requirements say that a person must acknowledge their intent to electronically sign a document. So by clicking OK, that becomes part of your audit log completion report. Now the person simply clicks on their square to sign the document. Again, confirming that they want to sign this document. But look what happens. You can decide whether you want to add video confirmation to see actually who signed that document. You can make it mandatory, or you can allow them to opt out if you will. But I'm going to say yes, we want this video, so I'm going to click on video. And that's actually a camera on the side of my computer, excuse me. Okay, so they click start recording, and they're going to get a liveness command, like a big smile as you see there, or bring your left ear to your left shoulder, left ear to right shoulder, which would be a little bit difficult, but it's called a liveness test. They click submit now, watch what happens. The video is uploaded to our platform, and the signature of the signer is going to appear. So that proves who actually signed the document. It wasn't my son, it wasn't my wife, it wasn't my neighbor, it wasn't the dog. That process is provided to our clients, yourselves, at no additional cost. So it's really a great product for enhancing the enforceability and non-repudiation of an electronically signed document. I can see in the future where that's going to be used on most all documents. Again, it's at no additional cost. Okay, now let's go into a remote online notarization event. So I'm going to log in as a notary, and I'm going to click here. Again, browser-based. All you have to do to access the platform is have a browser. We prefer Chrome, but we also accept all the others. Okay, I'm going to click on Notary Ron. So the premise here is somebody, an attorney has sent me a document that they want their clients to sign. And I've arranged for them to sign it at a certain date and time. So the attorney has uploaded the document through my web portal, which is provided with your subscription. And I'm going to grab that document. This document I actually have here. Let's just grab a simple document, one page power of attorney. Yep, that's the one I want to sign. I'm going to upload that to the platform. I am going to say this one was scheduled for tomorrow at 11:15. Okay, and you can see here, my default is to have the signer go through a knowledge-based authentication and ID verification. You can change this. I'm going to say I personally know this individual, so they don't need to go through the ID validation process. Also, a key feature is if you know who your notary is going to be, you just leave it at the default. If you don't know who the notary is going to be, you could select it from a queue, meaning all the notaries in your firm would get an email saying, can you accept this job? If they accept that job, it's taken out of the queue and assigned. So it's a very cool feature for the larger networks. So I've uploaded my document. I know who the notary is going to be. I know the date and time of the appointment. I personally know this signer, so I'm going to go to the next step. I'm going to add my signer's email address. It's Joe Signer. And again, I know them by personal knowledge. If this was a will or a trust that needed to be witnessed, I could just add a witness. If I had a person that wanted to attend the signing, but they're not going to sign anything, they could be an interpreter, a parent, an attorney, a manager. You can add them as a guest. That's quite simple. Okay, and if you had multiple notaries, you just click on the drop down here and select the notary that you know is going to attend this signing and click next. This is your notary journal. I know the document's an acknowledgement. I'm not charging the signer anything. I'm billing the attorney firm. And because I know this person, they're not going to put their address in when they enter the session, I'm going to have to put it in myself. And also, a kind of a cool feature is if the person is in another country, you can select that as well. You can choose any of hundreds of countries that the person's in. And then now we're going to tag the document. Whoop. Whoop. Select the country because I didn't select a city. There we go. Now I'm going to be tagging the document. Now for the larger companies, we have APIs and integrations that allow this to be automatically done. But by showing you the manual process, you get an idea or a better idea of the workflow. So I'm going to drop signer's name on here. That's Joe. Okay, I'm going to drop a date field on here. I can either predate it or leave it blank and it will automatically date at that time at which Joe signs the document. I'm going to add the notary signature and stamp. There's the notary stamp. And we provide this for you if you don't have one for your own at no cost. The notary signature. And of course, I would add the other elements on here, which for time purposes, I won't do for right now. But assuming this is properly filled out, I'm going to go next, and I am going to send this document invitation to the signer and to the notary. Now, you also have the ability to have a signer's invitation, the default invitation, and all the pop-up commands on the platform to be in Spanish. So signer 1 can be in Spanish and signer 2 or the notary can be in English. Okay, so I'm just going to send this email out. This is my last chance to review the accuracy of the email address and the name and the type of authentication used, and I'm going to send it. Okay, so now the assumption is it's a few minutes prior to the signing. So I, as the diligent notary that I am going to log in a few minutes early. Okay, and here's my signings for this week. The date that we created it, the meeting date, and the date at which the document will be purged from our platform. So we're going to keep it on the platform, and I've chosen by my defaults to have it remain there for 7 days. So if they had to reschedule, it's still there and ready to go. So I click on the actions, fill and sign, and that's going to take me into the signing room. Again, most of these steps are compliance driven. Okay, I have a number of cameras on my laptop. That's why I had to select here. Typically, all the signer would see on the upper left-hand corner of the page is allow camera and microphone. And I'm going to go to the meeting room. And in the meeting room, I'm there, but I see Joe's not. So I'm not going to start the meeting until Joe gets there. So let's go to my email as Joe, and I'm going to join that meeting. Again, just like I did in the e-signature environment, is click to join and enter the unique security code 7958. And continue. Now, at this point, the signer can look at the document, they can scroll it. Again, typically the signer in the upper left there would just be an allow use of camera and microphone, but they can't sign anything until you allow them or grant them permission to do so. With me here. Okay, so now I see that Joe is in the meeting. So I'm going to start this signing. Again, I'm going to share my entire screen. So I'm in the meeting room. Now let's see what Joe's field looks like. See, I'm using Edge as one browser and Chrome as the other browser. I'm going to click join the meeting. Okay, and let me mute that. Okay, so it is at this point, I'm on the notary side now. And again, on the side of my desk is representing the signer. At this point, your notaries confirm willingness, intent, capacity, and lack of duress. And then when they're ready to sign, they just essentially click on the manage signing icon here. And if there are multiple signers, they would select who they want to have signed first. They click enable the signer to sign. Okay, now I'm going to go back to Joe's side. And again, this would be your company name here. This goes to the audit log. The signer shares their screen, and we have a video that shows the signer how to do this that I recommend you use as part of your invite. The client then just clicks on their signature. They confirm that it is an electronic signature, and they agree to opt into that. And in the upper right, there's a green tab. That lets you know that all signature, all data points, etc., were completed. So it's an indication that everything has been done. Now let's go back to the notary side. And now the notary is going to enable their screen. But a really cool feature, let me show you this, is if you have found that you missed a signature, an initial, a date box, you can just add them. You can add a notary signature, you can add signer signature, anything that you added during the creation or prepping of the document, you can now add on the fly, and that's very important. But assuming everything is good, I'm just going to sign this as the notary. Again, all these pop-ups are part of the audit log, and it goes right to my first notary signature. And if there were multiple documents, it would just go from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And that's as simple as that. Again, confirmation that everything has been complete. One of the other features here is a snapshot feature that allows you to take a picture of something in the middle of a session. If there was a stipulation or an exhibit, you could just have the signer hold up that exhibit, capture of a picture, frame it so you get rid of the kitchen sink in the background, label it, and that looks good, that's what I want, and you say that. And you can decide or forward that on to the signer or the attorney firm you're working for or hospital or not, that's up to you. At this point, we end the signing and the meeting's over. Your election, after the meeting is over, we can return the signer to your website or your web page. You'll notice on the signer side, it's returned to secured signing. where they could view the document or download it. And then it's returned to our website. But you can configure it where it returns to your web page, which many people use for upsell other services, products, as well as request referrals and request a review. So again, the platform being extremely robust. Okay, any questions about what you saw in the operation before we go into pricing? I'm going to unmute everyone, so if you would let us know that if there's any questions you might have.
Bill, there's one here, and it just says if you have multiple signers, but they cannot attend at the same time, how do you conduct the signing? So we're on signing session.
Yes, great. I could have shown you that, and wish I'd have seen that earlier. What occurs is after the first signer executes, you don't execute, obviously, because you're not finished as a notary. You close the platform, and then when you click close, a reschedule frame will pop up, and you reschedule the remaining signer or signers for another date or time. If it's another day, you would obviously have to add an acknowledgement, which you can do, because to represent a different day for the second signer. So it's really quite simple. You just close it out and reschedule it, and then you log back in, say in the afternoon when you agreed to meet, and it's as simple as that. Again, because of Roger and I's experience in the notary world, we know what happens out there. So you've got to be able to accommodate those scenarios that occurred in the wet world into the electronically signing world. Okay, pricing, very important, and actually we're really quite proud that we're able to keep the pricing where it is. It's a month-to-month plan, $9.95 per month. No upfront cost. The additional cost will, of course, be executions. And that $9.95 provides you your web page. It provides you the ability to brand the site, including your email address, if it's your own domain. It allows you to advertise using that web page. We also have brochures that you can use that you can label as your own. So we assist you in your marketing efforts to gain, grow, and protect your business. The actual fees for conducting a session is the first 10 documents you upload in your calendar month are no charge. The 11th is $1.50. An ID verification is $3. KBA, if you use it, is $1. And it's $5 for recording the session at AWS. And we keep that there for 5, 7, or 10 years based on your state statutory requirement. And if you stop your subscription, you still have access to your journal for the 5, 7, or 10-year period. So it's a very affordable platform. We do cap our fees if you had very, very large documents with a lot of signers at $50. So that's the most you would ever be charged. And generally, we get some questions about pricing. So any questions?
We actually do have one here, Bill. You can probably elaborate. I put a message in, but it says, if you're charging a fee, what payment methods are acceptable?
Okay, we, as a subscriber, user of the platform, you'll need to put in a credit or debit card to be billed at the end of the month for both your monthly transaction costs and your subscription. We do not bill the signer. You bill them directly. Again, this is your business, so you're billing the client directly. Most of our notaries, most all of them, bill in advance and use either a PayPal or a Stripe type of an account.
And I'll just add to that too. So again, that's on the month-to-month. If you do go with an annual plan with us, you do have the ability, of course, with a credit card, a debit card, or an ACH transfer as well. So we're talking about month-to-months here today, but certainly with volumes, we can address an annual plan with you on a case-by-case basis.
Now to sign up, it's really quite simple. You just go to www.securedsigning.com. Click on Notary and click on Buy Now, and that's that business plan that allows you to add yourself at $9.95, and or if you sign up for a team plan, add other users to your account. If you have more than 10 users, that would be an enterprise account, and we would assist you in arranging that. But it's really quite simple, and again, no upfront cost on a month-to-month basis. As Roger said, the bigger accounts go for an annual plan, which allows for discounts. And that's typically in the e-signature market how those contracts are arranged on a year-to-year basis. But we've tried to make it very affordable for people to get involved in this new method of doing business. So we're really quite proud of the ability that we have to keep that at $9.95 per month for the small, medium-sized user. We also offer, included with your subscription, training classes. Actually, we have one every Thursday at 3 o'clock East Coast time. I think last week or the week before, we had 108 notaries in the class. And we go over all the questions, challenges, and conditions that the notaries face out there. In your invitation, you can select from 1 of 5 topics to be reviewed and another where you put your own in. And we stay in that class till all questions are answered and all issues are resolved. So it really allows you to take advantage of other notaries' experience so that you gain that wisdom rapidly. So we really heartily encourage you to attend those classes, because your monthly subscription allows you to white label the platform and also grants you this entrance into a class. So if you don't go to class, you're not going to pass the test. So we have online instructional tapes. We have an online notary excellent course. And we also have, of course, the live training course every Thursday.
So here's an excellent question that came in. It says, you mentioned earlier about the e-signature solution, and then you also talked about Ron. Do you have to have 2 separate plans, or is it built into one?
No, great question. It's all built into one. Your monthly subscriptions allows you to do e-signatures with video confirmation, as you saw, in-person electronic notarization. If you're in a jurisdiction, it also allows you to do remote ink notarization, and it also allows you, of course, to do remote online notarization. So all those modalities, all those features are included with your monthly subscription. So it's really an incredibly robust bundled platform deal.
Cool. The next one is, how do I get in touch with someone at Secured Signing?
Okay, that is, let's segue to our next slide. There, you can either reach out to Roger or I. There's our email addresses, our contact information. We will be sending a follow-up email to this webinar, so you'll have that as well. And we heartily encourage you to reach out to either of us, and we can explain any features, pricing, or proposals that you want to pro-offer. So we are here to serve.
Perfect. There's no other questions at the moment. So if anybody else has any more questions, feel free to ask. I will just elaborate one more point here that, Bill certainly addressed at the beginning of this, is about the security and the security features, right? So the idea about Secured Signing is that we are a very secure platform. It is in our name. We can help assist you with any type of documents that you might be pushing through the platform of any size, right? So it can be either 1-page doc, can be a 500-page document, typically up to a 50 meg file, which is very, very large. So just know in the mortgage space there, those loan documents can flow right through the platform very easily using this system.
Okay, thank you, Roger. And thank all of you for attending today. You will be receiving a follow-up email. And again, feel free to reach out to Roger and I with any questions you might have. And again, thank you so much for attending today. And next Wednesday and Thursday, we'll be not holding either the class or the demonstration for the Thanksgiving holiday. So everyone enjoy themselves during that week for the holiday as well. All right, thanks so much. Take care.